This was without doubt my most expensive video game hunt ever, and that is largely down to this one item.
Well, you know about retro ghetto, collecting and playing retro, Street Fighter on the Nintendo. I'm a veteran at this, not pro.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. I am here in Halesowen, the West Midlands, and I'm going to one of my favourite shops in the country, Vintage Gamer. Let's go. Okay, so as I was flicking through that PS3 section, you may have just noticed my first pickup of the day. Unsurprisingly, it's a PS3 Essential. Now, if you don't already know, I'm going for the full PS3 Essentials set, of which there's currently, to my calculations, 200, I believe, to get the full amount. It's just something that I really enjoy doing for a couple of different reasons. One, aesthetically, I think they look fantastic having all those red spines lined up. Two, I think it would be great to have like a almost comprehensive PS3 library in sort of like one subset, if you like, and I'm really looking forward to completing it. I'm really enjoying the process of hunting these largely very cheap and somewhat abundantly available games down. I currently have 72, so I'm sort of on the right track. We're not too far away now from being halfway to that full set, and yeah, managed to find one that I needed in the fantastic Vintage Gamer, and that was Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. This is a 2013 stealth action-adventure game developed by Ubisoft. It's the sequel to Conviction and the 7th release in the Splinter Cell series. This received a very positive reception from critics. IGN gave this a 9.2 out of 10. Game Informer gave this a 9 out of 10. And yeah, it wasn't a bad start to my hunt at Vintage Gamer, but there was definitely better to come. Given my recent passion for collecting for the Xbox 360, it'll come as no surprise that whilst I was digging through that vast back room, I managed to come across a couple of Xbox 360 titles that I needed for my ever-growing collection. The first one is a very common game, but I bought it for one specific reason. That game is Borderlands 2. That's right, 2K's 2012 first-person shooter classic. The reason why I picked this up is simply for this sleeve cover. This for me is a physical embodiment of everything that was great about the detail and the care that was put into the artwork of this generation of consoles. I think it's somewhat a missing art now in video games. Maybe finances dictate that, but when you look at the passion that's gone into just this simple sleeve cover, it's embossed, it's got metallic finish on it, the artwork is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely love both the Borderlands and Borderlands 2 sleeve covers. As I say, I do already own these on the PlayStation 3, but with my collecting focus currently being on the 360 side of things, I just wanted to be able to add this to my Xbox 360 sleeve cover shelf. And yeah, these games cost pretty much nothing. You always find it with the sleeve cover on it. I think it probably came as standard because, yeah, you see these all the time in your local CEX stores, but just one that I knew I had to add to my 360 collection at some point. And from there, I saw something even more beautiful under the Xbox 360 banner. This is something I don't think I'd ever seen before. I didn't know much about it, and that is this copy of Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII. This 2014 Square Enix release is the sequel to Final Fantasy XIII 2, concludes the storyline of Final Fantasy XIII, and forms part of the Fabula Nova Crystallis sub-series. Confused? I am. I mean, I probably mispronunciated half of that, which goes to show that I really don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to these later Final Fantasy games. But what I do know, and what I'm not confused about, is why I picked this up. It's absolutely stunning steelbook, this one. Beautiful artwork. Quite an uncommon one. You don't see this about too often. And yeah, I'll be adding this to my steelbook section of the 360 collection. And yeah, really happy to have found this. So as you've just seen, I really took my time to dig through every single one of the crates that Nick has littered across Vintage Gamer. There's some real treasure hidden in those crates, trust me. I didn't get it all on camera, but I think from what you did see, you'll realise some real nice stuff in there. And I found something which ticks all of my current collecting boxes. Something which is uncommon, something which is Nintendo cardboard, and something which is a big box variant of the Nintendo Wii, which is something else that I'm currently enjoying collecting for. And that was this copy of Brothers in Arms Double Time. This 2008 first-person shooter compilation is comprised of Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30 and Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood, both developed by Gearbox Software and released originally in 2005, with this re-release getting a 2008 release. This game features over 30 levels set during the Battle of Normandy. Generally very poor reviews. IGN gave this like a 3 out of 10, but I won't be giving it a poor review because for me, like I say, I just love collecting these kind of anomalies. I love kind of double packs. I love anything that's Nintendo cardboard, no matter how sort of recent or retro it is. And yeah, I'd never seen this before. Somewhat uncommon. I think there's 10 copies of this in CEX when I last checked. And this is in really nice condition. And yeah, just a nice little oddity for my Nintendo Wii shelf. If you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you will know that a hunt isn't really a successful hunt as far as I'm concerned unless I'm able to add some Super Nintendo cardboard to my ever-increasing collection. I am stupid enough to be going for a full set of Super Nintendo games, and I'm very close to being halfway to that 530 total target. I think if you saw the footage, it's very obvious as to what game I did pick up, and that is Aero the Acrobat. This 1993 Iguana Entertainment developed game featuring yet another anthropomorphic main character, something seemingly forced into every other platformer of this generation. In this case, said character is Aero, a bat. Aero was the biggest star of his circus, and you have to fight your way through various platforming levels to rescue other members of the circus which have been kidnapped. And I mean, you know the drill. It's not really about the storyline when it comes to these 90s platformers, but as you've seen on screen now, one which is very nice in visual presentation. A game that I've been after for quite some time, actually. Not overly expensive, but somewhat uncommon, like most Nintendo cardboard is nowadays. And yeah, you know me, guys, I absolutely love 90s platformers. This is one that I can't wait to play, and always a good day when I can add Super Nintendo cardboard to the SNES wall. So if you've ever visited Vintage Gamer, you will know that pretty much everywhere is open to go and hunt for games. Every little nook and cranny in this place is filled floor to ceiling with video games and accessories. I've even been known to find games in the toilet before now. I am not joking. However, there is one area which is seemingly somewhat out of bounds, and it's known as the Closet of Doom. Now, obviously, with a title like that, it just makes me even more intrigued to go and take a look in there. If you ask Nick, he will sort of usually let you have a look. And once you open that door, I wasn't going to pass up the opportunity. So as you've seen, I had a good look around the closet of Doom. There's so many like weird and wonderful treasures and oddities in there. And I think to some extent, it's where Nick keeps things that he doesn't really want to sell, or things that are fast increasing in value or sitting in a strange place in the market. But yeah, I had a good look in there and I found this. That is Deluxe Vault Hunters Borderlands 2 Collector's Edition. So yes, the second copy for the Xbox 360 of Borderlands 2 I picked up on this one game hunt. As I say, I picked up the first one purely for the sleeve cover. This one, I've been on a bit of a Collector's Edition kick on the 360 lately. It's getting a little bit out of hand, right? Because they do take up room fast, but this fits all the things I look at when I want a collector's edition. It's relatively the same size height as the game, so it'll display nicely on the shelves. It's got fantastic artwork on display, and I haven't really had much of a look inside as to what's in it, so we'll do that together now. So we've got yet another copy of the game. I've got this, inside the vault, the art and design of Borderlands 2. We also have this map. Borderlands 2 is the Borderlands I've put the most time into. I really enjoyed it. I never finished it. There's the map. So yeah, I was saying, I never finished it because if there's one thing about the Borderlands series that annoys me, it's sort of like the amount of guns that you get. It seems like everywhere you go you're picking up a new gun and it's called an epic gun or an amazing gun or the greatest gun, and it's like it becomes an inventory management game. It sort of stressed me out thinking, is the gun that I'm using the best gun, or is it one of the 47 other guns that I've just found that is now the best gun? And there's almost too much stuff, but I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one of them games I intend to go back to and complete because yeah, I was enjoying my time with it. And like I often say, sometimes buying these bigger box special editions and having them on the shelves looking at me gives me that impetus to go back, revisit them or play them, just so I can sort of like associate the game with the physical embodiment of it. So yeah, that's one of the other benefits for me of physical game collecting. There's also some stickers and things in here, but I think this is probably like one of the main things that comes in the collector's edition. It's this like bobblehead character. I didn't get far enough in the game to know who this character is, but yeah, it's a nice, cool collector's edition. As with everything at Vintage Gamer, Nick gave me a fantastic price on it, and yeah, I wasn't going to let it pass me by. This was without doubt my most expensive video game hunt ever, and that is largely down to this one item. And that item is Sony KDL 22PX300. A little bit anticlimactic, right? Better known as the PS2 TV. And here she is. I'm so happy to finally have one of these in my collection. So for those that don't know, this is a Sony Bravia LCD 22-inch TV, effectively with a PS2 Slim built into it as the model's base. A really nice piece of kit this. Very versatile as well. It runs at 720p. It's got 4 HDMI points. It's got VGA, components, SCART, Ethernet. It's got composite components. It's got USB. It's got headphone out. And crucially, with this model, I've got the remote control. These themselves go up to like 60, 70 pounds. And yeah, really happy that it came with the remote. And you can see on top there, it has the PlayStation 2 power on button. I'm yet to power this thing on. I've only just unwrapped it from the bubble wrap. So let's take a look together, shall we? So this is where the discs go in. Ah, just hearing that right in the nostalgia. Yeah, so this was sort of staring at me throughout my visit to Vintage Gamer. Nick didn't really want to sell it. He said of all the ones he's owned, this is the sort of best condition. There's barely a scratch on this. Very, very nice condition, this one. I think if Nick had had somewhere for this to go in his own house, this would have been part of his own collection, but yeah, he did me a fantastic price on this, and I was absolutely delighted to take it home. So just to give you guys a little bit of background information before we put some games in and test this out. This, strangely, was a 2010 release. I say strangely because the PS3 came out in Europe in 2007. So for them to bring out a PS2 product 3 years after the PS3 was, yeah, a strange marketing decision. Rumour is that there was a lot of PlayStation 2 surplus parts, and this was a way of Sony getting rid of them. Whether there's any truth to that, I'm not quite sure. But the reason this thing is so rare is that it was only available through Richer Sounds. So Richer Sounds is a sort of electronics shop that there are a few of up and down the country. And it was only sold there, and it was only sold in December of 2010. This came out at a ridiculously cheap price of £200 just before Christmas. So as you can imagine, a 22-inch TV with effectively having a DVD player and a PS2 built into it. This is like the perfect gift for like children's bedrooms, right? So yeah, this sold out instantly, and once it sold out, it never came back into stock anywhere. So this was only available in the UK for a small period of time, and once it was gone, it stayed gone. But yeah, let's take a look at this then, shall we? Let's test it out. Let's get a game in there. Okay, so that's the remote plugged in, and as you can see, the two remote ports with the two memory card ports above that. The way this thing opens, I believe you press this button. Yep, it just kind of pops it a little, and then you just simply slide it across. And then obviously we're going to put a game in now. Another cool feature, when you press the home button, it brings up the television menu like the PS2 menu. So yeah, it's just these little touches, right? There's little bursts of nostalgia. I just love things like that. Now, as you can see, and as you would expect, this thing looks and sounds, well, as good as I've ever seen the PS2 look and sound. I'm blown away by the sound, to be honest. I was playing around with it off camera, like it, yeah, really nice sound quality, especially for a TV which is, you know, relatively thin. Doesn't seem to have, you know, huge speakers or anything. Very impressed with it. And yeah, I've genuinely never seen PS2 look this good. Okay, so let's check out some PS1 games on this. Oh, it gives me goosebumps, but I'm not going to lie. Of all the PlayStation intros, I don't know, man. PS1 seems to hit the hardest, right? Okay, so it's got a setting where it will automatically go to the correct screen size. So this defaulted to 4.3. I changed it to 4.9 just for the purposes of this video, just so you could see it a little bit larger on camera. But yeah, once again, looks great, sounds great. I don't think I'll be playing PS1 any other way. I don't actually have a PS1 set up in this room. So yeah, I think I'll always be playing it via this method now. So there we have it, the Sony PS2 TV, and I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I thought I would just enjoy it from a collector's point of view, to be honest. I thought it's just one of the things I've always coveted from afar. I've always wanted to have in my collection, and I thought, yeah, I'd be happy to have it as part of the collection, but I've been blown away by the quality, the usability of it, the functionality. I absolutely love this thing. So happy that I pulled the trigger to buy this. Let me know in the comments if you've owned one of these, if you've ever had any experience with one of these, and there's so many like additional benefits. Like I'm looking at it now, just having that one wire, because obviously it's all connected, just makes life so much easier, especially when, like me, space is at a premium, and I've got to figure out where this thing is going to live. We'll figure that out on Sunday's vlog. Also, I think for me, as a collector, and probably like a lot of you guys, you get collector's envy. When you see other collectors from other parts of the world on YouTube, you often think, oh wow, I wish kiosks were as readily available in the UK as they are seemingly in America, or standees are, or certain games or certain consoles are in other countries. And I think being a UK collector, trying to fly the flag for the UK, for me, having something which was only available in the UK, I don't know, it just felt like it was something I had to have, and yeah, could not be happier. Let me know how you think I did with my purchases, and like I say, ultimately, what was my most expensive video game hunt of all time. Vintage Game is a fantastic shop. If you ever find yourself in the West Midlands, make sure you go and check them out, because yeah, I don't think I've ever left disappointed, and I certainly didn't leave disappointed on this occasion. But I'm going to get back to playing some PlayStation 1 and 2 before the headache begins of where this thing's going to live here in the 3.0. As always, thank you very much for watching. Play your games, Keep it retro in a bit.
You're watching the Retro Ghetto.
Ghetto.
Ghetto!
Yeah.
Lock into the retro ghetto.